Hello YouTubers! What we are going to do today is we are going to take these little chalkboards and draw on them in the Curio 2. This, I think, is a wonderful beginner project. If you're scared of a Curio but kind of want to do something, this is a great beginner project. Best of all, if you mess up, you can just erase it. It really will just come right off. So, let me go show you what you need. Alright, so first thing up you are going to need is chalkboard. I bought this one from Amazon, and then this is the smaller one that I bought grocery shopping at Walmart. Either one will work. I prefer this Amazon one. One, because it's a little bit bigger, and two, it's a little bit thicker. I feel like it's a little bit more sturdy. But the big thing is the one from Walmart has the sticker on the back. So you have to figure out how to take it off and de-sticky and all of that kind of stuff. Where these guys don't have any stickers and they're just double-sided, ready to go. Also, this little one from Walmart, it came with a string to hold it with, but you're going to have to cut that off because they have to lay flat in the bed in order for the marker to move over the board here. So cut them off so you can lay it flat. These guys came in a little baggie, which I have totally lost, so we'll probably be using some ribbon. So, chalkboard. Now, you're going to need some markers. We're going to use the Chomas marker holder. I've got a video on how to use this, and we'll use it again here, partially just because it's my favorite. Now, Silhouette has a marker holder. I don't know if this will work in that marker holder. They've had to come out with yet another new version, so it's called Silhouette marker holder version C now. The original one that for the original Cameo 1, 2, and 3, and the one for the Cameo 4 will not work in the new machine, so they come out with another one, and I don't want to buy another one. So we're using the Chomas marker holder, and these work. So I will caution that a lot of the chalk markers are really fat and won't work in these. So I would definitely either see the markers before or double check or make sure they're returnable to make sure that they will work in your pen holder. Now I've got two sets. One is from Amazon and then these are from Hobby Lobby. They both work. I will caution though, because I wanted all the colors because why not, right? Now, the white is by far the best at showing up detail on the black chalk. Now I've got a silver one and a gold one, and they have both, so they've shown up really well here. And the pink one has. I don't even know if you can see that. That's technically the purple one. And the orange one doesn't show up any better at all. And neither does the red one. I haven't tried any of the other ones because I kind of gave up. But so I would tell you to stick with the white markers to start with, and then the white markers or maybe the metallic markers to start with. Also, I got this one on Amazon. I think it's this one, and it is an extra fine tip. So it goes for really, really fine details. I haven't actually tried this one out in the machine yet, but there is that, because the other thing to allow for is that since we're using markers, the designs are going to be fatter. This is what I'm talking about. This was done with a white gel ink pen, and then this was done with a marker. So you see the difference in size. So when you're picking out your design or what you want to do, you need to allow for the differences in the sizes of the markers. Before we go over to the software, I want to show you a couple of your options for designs to go on here. This is a single line sketch file. I drew this with a specific purpose in mind, and it draws it all out. Now, this couldn't be cut out of vinyl. It's meant for drawing. So they're sometimes called drawing files or sketch files, or sometimes called foil quill files. Any of those kind of things will work. So there's single line files meant for this. So these are your options if you want to fill in your design. This is a regular standard font. It is my font called Hibiscus, and it's my favorite, so we're using it. So I've filled this font in with some fills. So this Aloha is filled in with a vertical fill that I've just put in an angle. So you can see that here. This is just the font as is with no fill at all. And then this is the circular fill. So you have different it does different circles and to fill in your design here. These two are sketch files. Those are always my favorite that I always go back to. And then this one down here, I always thought maybe you could draw it out and then fill it in. But you can also see how the marker, the summer is the last thing that's written, and how the marker gets a bit tired. So you can put a pause in the machine and change out markers, give a really big design. So you do have options, but a couple of things to note. Every time the marker picks up and puts down, you have a little bit of a smuts, a little bit extra here. So keep that in mind. Also, the more detailed and drawn in it's going to be, the longer it's going to take. Alright, so we're in Silhouette Studio. This is the version of the software I am currently using. As of right now, there is a newer version, version 5, that is out. And my understanding is it's going to look very different from this. So if you have a newer version of the software, this will look different. But I am holding out on this one until version 5 has been out a bit longer, and we can make sure there's no crazy bugs in it. So we are using, under page setup here, I have Curio 2, and then I have the electric bed selected. It doesn't matter, I'm actually got the debris tray up here. And then under the electric bed, you can, or it's under cutting mat, I can have the sheet only, which I don't like because there's no numbers on it, as we all know. So we're gonna do Curio under here, and then the 12 by 12 mat, so that I can see something to line up here. And then this is transparency. I get asked about it all the time, so I have this, or you can move it so you can see the grid lines on here. And then what I did is, our chalkboards from Amazon are 8 by 12. So I drew my little rectangle here. You're gonna go over to this little things here. It's a transform panel, and the scale tool is here. We're gonna unlock this. So we're gonna make this 12 wide and then 8 tall. And then I normally have been putting it right under my line 1 here, and then down here at the bottom. So I have 3, and this is how I know how to put it on my thing. So I have 1 row above, and then I have 3 rows below, so that I know how to put my chalkboard on my mat here. So like I said, you can pick any font you want to. So why don't we just do an M here? Alright, so we're gonna go over here and actually, let's move him. We'll come back to him when we have our design all made up here. So let's do an M here, and then we're gonna go over to font, and then this is Hibiscus. So I have over here, it's called the sketch panel down here. Over here on the side here, it's a sketch panel. And in here are all my different fills. So this is the one I used on my Aloha here. And what I did is, you have options for spacing. So see, obviously I can space it all the way together, and then we can space it way out. So remember, the closer it is spaced together, the longer it's gonna take, and it's more work on your marker. Now, the further you have it out, you know, it's obviously easier. So, and also remember, your marker is fat. So it's going to cover more territory than if you were doing this with a regular, like, fine line pen. So you have the fills here, and then down here you have your edge, which I would recommend putting in here so that it outlines your design here. So you have that, and then you can come over here to the angle. And what I did on Aloha was I had it at an angle here, because I thought that might be more like what people would fill it in as. I don't know. So we have that. So, and you can take your pick. So this is the concentric circles that we used on the palm tree. And see, it puts little circles in for each one. And then this one is, it's a circular one, and it puts a circle in the middle of the design, and the circles come out from the middle. And then you've got some really sketchy ones that do some weird things here. I would not recommend this. The marker is probably going to dry out before it gets both ways on here. Same here for your hatch fill. The marker is going to dry out before this gets all drawn. And what's going to happen is your marker will go back over what's dry or partially dry, and either pull it up, pull the ink up, or just smudge what's already there. So you've got various sketchy files here and fills, and the same thing here, you can fill in. So you can do all sorts of sketchy fills here, depending on your level of sketchiness that you would like. So you have lots of different fill pattern options here. So, but I would definitely recommend at least putting the outline around it. I would recommend a single line fill where it's just one line going, not this where it's gonna hatch back over itself. But it is your board. And best of all, if you mess up, you can totally erase it and call it a day. Alright, so these are single line sketch files. I went and borrowed this one and this one. I went and borrowed from another file. So we have our leaf here and our M and then our little mason jar. Now, up here, you have point size. And so I can make them fatter. A, you can see them, and B, you can kind of get a better idea of if you have little bits of the design that may not come out well. And like my little, I guess we're going to lemon in here, it may be too close and we may just end up with one kind of shape here instead of two lines. They may just blur together. Same for our cup, honestly, but we will see. Now, all of your designs need to be so you can right click, and mine are already a compound path, but this one, and that's why it says release it, but if it is not, make sure it's a compound path and all welded together into one complete shape here. So we have this one, we have my M, this is another sketch file, and then I thought we would do over here, they're called flexi shapes, they're part of one of the paid upgrades, not sure which one. So you can draw it over here, and then you can, you have different abilities to mess with it, basically. So we're going to do a 5-petal flower, and then we're going to squish this in. And then I thought we would do the circle. And then that way, between this one that we did and the Aloha board, you'll be able to see pretty much all of the different fills and what they kind of look like. So I have a good jumping off point here. And then why don't we, I can hypnotize y'all. All right. So why don't we do kind of there here, and then your angle doesn't really matter because it's all kind of the same. So, and then make sure we have an edge here, and then we'll bring our board back on here, and we're going to put it here. So remember, we have 1 row above, 3 rows below. We're going to do this big for a couple of reasons. I think it looks better when the design is bigger, and then I think it's just easier to see, and you have a better chance of getting all of your details in if your design is a little bit bigger. So, and that's why I don't like to design with these in the background because they move. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to grab our design here and we're going to group it. And then this is our chalkboard outline here. We're going to grab both of them, select both of them, come over to the transform panel. And then you have this one here, it's the bullseye, and it will center your design inside of your chalkboard if you want everything to be perfectly centered. Now, if you have little bits out here like this, it may not look centered, and you can mess with it and highlight it and do anything you want to with it. So, but that will at least get you all centered there. So when I come over here to send, I have options here. I have simple, and I also have by line color. And that's what I want to do. The reason why is because it forces the machine to do all of that design all at once. Couple reasons why. That way your marker stays wet and you have less chance of either smearing or picking up the marker again. Because if you go over semi-dry ink, it sometimes will just pull up the marker where it's already been. Also, if it goes from here to here to here to here, here to here, it is maddening to watch, 1. 2, it takes longer, but you have a bigger increase of drag marks in the middle. The boards are wood, so they flex. So you have a better chance of dragging if it's trying to go from here to here to here to here to here to here. So to make sure everything's its own color here, we're going to go back over to design here. And remember, since these are lines, we're going to go to line color. So we'll go over here and we'll make sure he's already a different color. I think he's red. And then that one's good. And then we'll come over here and select, see, black for this guy. And then why don't we do green? Oh, orange? Yeah, let's do orange for that. So that way everybody has its own color. It will force the machine to do all of this before moving on to a different shape here. And then this is we'll delete anything off camera. This is my design I stole it from. Anything off camera will pick up too. So if you go to send panel and you have extra line choices, that's what's up. So this is what we're going to do here. Also make sure, remember, you have holes up here to keep it from. We are also going to tape the board down. So keep that in mind to not make your design too close to the edge here. So don't do any of this kind of stuff because it's just going to run off the board. Let's undo. Now this I'm going to kick off to the side. We'll actually just delete him so we don't have another one. So that is what we're going to go send it to the Curio. I'm going to come over here to line color. Like I said, here are 4 shapes. Here are 4 lines. I don't have anything in, so that's why it's saying no action. So we want to sketch, and we're going to do a force of 1 and a speed of 3. Now, I don't know of another way to do all of these all at once. If anybody does, please let me know down in the comments, because this is annoying. The reason I chose a force of 1 is because you don't need to squish the marker. It just destroys them. So a force of 1 is plenty. And then a speed of 3. It's saying no tool is detected because there's no tool in the holder there. Once we put our tool in, the metal of the Chomas holder will pick up here and it'll tell the machine that there's something there. So now we are going to go put our chalkboard onto our Curio. Alright, so this is our Curio 2. And this is our debris tray. Just because the electrostatic mat is more expensive and more fiddly, and I don't want to break that. The debris tray I don't feel like I'm going to break. Famous last words. But I feel like it's a little bit safer for anything else other than holding paper. So what I did is, this is a fairly old mat. It's the mat we did all of the etching on. What I did is, you have little marks down here in the corner. See them? And you can line up your mat with those marks and then tape it down. This is washi tape. Highly recommend something really a light tack tape so that you can keep this tape down for a while and not have any issues. All right, so we're going to use the back of the Aloha board. Now, something to understand with the chalkboards here is all 3 of the ones I have. There's a little bit of a hump in the middle. None of them are perfectly flat. So to help combat that, we're going to tape this board down. Also, that was another reason that I wanted to make sure we did not have the machine going back and forth a bunch, is because every time we write, it's going to flex and go down and then flex and go down. So if we flex over here, try to go over here and then flex over here, you have an increased risk of drag marks is what I'm trying to say here. But best of all, if you mess up, just erase it. Okay, so I'm just going to tape this down using tape I've already had up here before. And now I am going to recommend going corner to corner to help hold the mat down or hold the board down as much as you can. And then this is tape I'm just reusing. Alright, so we're using the Chomas marker holder here, and it doesn't quite fit in this Curio 2. So what I did is this has got washi tape down here at the bottom, and then this is some masking tape to help it fit in our holder here. I have a whole video up on the channel on how I use this in the Curio 2 if you want to go check it out. Now, the Amazon markers, so these are the Hobby Lobby markers. The Amazon markers are a little bit chunkier than that. So what I did was I peeled off the wrapper to make them go through our little holder a little bit easier. And you can tell the little where the screw goes in, it leaves a bit of a mark. So the other nice thing is that with these markers, the cap can actually stay on them. So if you get one set up and you want to do a couple of things, you can keep it. You can keep the cap on when you're not using them. The markers do dry out. But like I said, it's a tight fit for the Amazon markers. Alright, to take our cap off here, put our marker into machine here. And then this is a little popsicle stick that comes with the Chomas holder. And I don't know what this thing's called, but we're gonna put it here and use it for our spacing. So what we want is the marker floating a little bit above the pencils, the popsicle stick here. The reason being is that if it's right on the popsicle stick here, you're gonna get some drag marks on the chalkboard. So you want it floating a little bit above so that you help allow for the flexing of this chalkboard. Now, do a couple free little designs here. If you end up with some drag marks, move it up a little bit more. As always with this, if you mess up, it will just erase. All right, so I screwed down this little screw right here, put the cap back on, and make sure your marker's in there pretty steady. All right, so we're back here in the send panel. I just wanted to show you that it does now automatically detect that it thinks that there's a blade in there, which is fine. We still got everything set at sketch. Also, I wanted to show you up here you can select one of them, and then we can add a pause. So if you want to draw this one and then change it out for a different color, you can add a pause, and see it'll pause it. The machine will stop, let you fidget with everything, and then you can turn it back on again. So if you want to do that, but we're just gonna let this one roll. I'm gonna hit the send button. And then the Curio is going to do its little dance where it's going to come over, auto detect, and then come back up. See, and I'm just going to hit the send button. We're going to let this sit for a minute and make sure everything's dry before I take off the tape and we talk about it. Alrighty, so that is our finished board here. So then that was our circle fill, and that's a single line sketch file. This is that sketchy fill that we did, and then that is another single line sketch file. And like I said, or I was pretty sure, these two lines were close enough together, they kind of just merged into one. Same thing up here. Now, this board is not flat like I said they weren't. I don't know if you can tell, but it concaves kind of up. So when it did move across, it did get a smudge in the middle of drag mark because this middle section is higher on this board. So I just erased it while it was still drawing, if you caught that in the speed go. But the other reason, the other thing that happened because of that, that's the reason this side of the leaf is fatter than this side. This side of the board is higher. So the marker had more force here and made this fatter than this side. So like I said, it's kind of a give and take. The other side of this board would be the easier one to draw on because it kind of slopes down. So it's all a bit of practice with these, but it's great. I feel like it's a great beginner project. And then I think these would be so much fun for birthdays, for like buffets, for just fun little signs to have up for seasonal decor. So if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. And I will be back with another tutorial soon. Thank you so much for watching.